Hello and welcome to another tutorial by Happy Cloud Solutions. Today we'll be deploying a web application using the DevOps approach. So Jenkins will be used for building our pipeline job, and then we'll use Grady to build the application, SonarQube for code analysis. The application is going to be containerized using Docker, and the image is going to be pushed to Docker Hub, and then it's going to be exposed to the internet so anybody can access it using the IP address and specified port. So the Jenkins and SonarQube are both going to run on an AWS EC2 instance. So that's why you see AWS around the SonarQube and Jenkins. So now what we'll be doing today, we'll be first creating an Ubuntu EC2 instance on AWS. We'll install Jenkins, Docker, and Trivy. We'll create a SonarQube container using Docker. We'll install the required plugins on Jenkins. We'll build Docker image and push to Docker Hub. We'll access the application that's been created. And then when we are done, we will definitely not forget to terminate the EC2 instance that has been created. So let's get right into it. So on your AWS console, you can select EC2 here, but if it's not something you recently used, you can just go to services and then type EC2 up here, and it's going to bring out, the EC2 dashboard for you. Then we want to go to instances, and we want to click on launch instances. All right. I'm going to give my instance the name of web server, and it's going to be Ubuntu. Type will be T2 large. Key pair is going to be this because I already have one existing, but if you don't, you can just click create new key pair. All right, I'm going to edit networking. I'm going to leave VPC and subnet that way. I'm going to ensure that I enable public IP, and then I'm going to select an existing security group, which is this one, just to show you what's in the security group. So for yours, you have to ensure that you open either 80 or 443. If it's production, then 443. But since it's just for test, I want the application to be accessible via port 80. Then you have to open 9000 for SonarQube. You have to open 8080 for Jenkins, 2022 for SSH into your Ubuntu instance, and 8082 is because that's where I want to expose my application on. All right, so for storage, I'm just gonna choose 30. Okay, and then I'm gonna install Jenkins automatically during launch time. So I'm going to use the user data feature, and I'm going to paste the jenkins.sh command here. So this can be found in the GitHub repository. So you can see the jenkins.sh file there. So I'll just come back here, scroll, all looks good, and then launch instance. All right, click on the instance. We can see that it's still in the pending state, so we're going to come back when the instance is now in the running state. Okay, so hello viewers, my name is Kachi. This is a short break just to urge and ask you to like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. This channel is used to bring educative videos that are relevant in the information technology world. We bring videos on web development, cloud computing, DevOps, and even artificial intelligence, AI. But the videos are not just limited to that. We also provide videos as they are relevant to the community. We ask that you support us through your likes and subscription. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you as part of our subscribers. Now, let's get back to business. So now the EC2 instance is running, and we want to connect to it now. Just copy the command here, go to your command prompt and enter into the directory where you have your key pair sitting. So that's my downloads folder. And I'm just going to paste the command that I copied. Yes, click enter. And now you are in your Ubuntu terminal. So I'm just going to give time for the system to load. And while it is doing that, because I want it to load and then we can open Jenkins, because remember we said it should install during launch time. Okay. So now while we are waiting, we want to, install Docker. So before we do that, we're going to type sudo apt update. All right. And after that, we want to install Docker itself. Docker.io -y, so I don't have to accept anything, it just does automatically. So apt install docker.io -y. While this is happening, I'm just going to come back here and take the public IP of this EC2 instance, open a new tab, and I'm going to do this 8080 because Jenkins runs on 8080. So now you see that it's running on port 8080, okay? So we're going to get back to this. Let me go to my terminal. Before I do that, I want to add a Docker group and add users, okay? So user mode -ag Ubuntu. So this Ubuntu here is basically the username. So it can be whatever. If your username, if this is here, you use this as AWS user, and then you see AWS user at IP-172, blah blah blah. So here, what you're going to put here is AWS user, or if it's your name John Alice, you're going to put John, not Ubuntu, okay? And then click on enter. Next thing you want to do is to add the user to the Docker group. So new group Docker. All right. So now let us start the Docker in the background. Enable Docker. And then I'm going to give permission to everyone on docker.sock. So let's do that. Run docker.sock. Okay. So right now we're going to go back to Jenkins. Over here, I'm going to copy this. Just copy all of this. Control C. Come back to my terminal. I want to get the password, okay? That's what I'm trying to do. So sudo cat and paste that. So it automatically gives me the password that I need to impute. Okay, so come back. You're going to change it, Click on this. Continue. So install suggested plugins. I'm going to do that. And then I'm just going to let this install and come back to it. So while we're waiting for that, we'll be doing something else. We are going to create a SonarQube container. So docker run -d, and we're going to give it a name of Sonar. Like I told you, it's going to run on port 9000. So, and then I'm just going to retrieve an image from the community. Okay. The SonarQube community. All right. So docker run -d, the name Sonar, the port that we're going to be using, and then the image name, and enter. So it says unable to find the image locally, so it starts to pull it from the SonarQube LTS community library. Okay, so that's that. We're gonna wait for that to be done. Let's see if the plugins are done. The plugins aren't done yet, so we're just gonna wait for one of the processes to be done. Okay, so now let's check that the SonarQube is running. Docker PS. So you can see that it's up just 12 seconds ago. So to also log into this, we would need the IP address, open a new tab, and paste the command, but it's on port 9000. And then you see here. So SonarQube is starting. We're just going to leave that and let it start. Let's see. So seems like everything is taking its time. So I'm just going to pause the video and wait for it to come up. So now we have our SonarQube up. To log in, just use admin for the username and password. And then you would have to change your password. Okay. And click update. So let's go to Jenkins. So when the plugins is done, you'll be presented with this screen. Then just click skip and continue as admin. So click on save and finish, start using Jenkins, and then it takes you here. So what we want to do is we want to also change the password. So click on admin and then configure, okay? Scroll down, you'd see password here. Just delete it, and just give it any password of your choice. Okay, when you're done, click save. It's going to kick you out and ask you to sign in again. Password. Okay. So now we've done that, let's go into SonarQube and let's create a token. This, I'll just call it Jenkins integration. So you can list, when you want it to expire, and I'll just leave 30 days because that's the earliest, and generate copy. So copy this and come back to Jenkins, okay? Click on, let's go back to my dashboard. So when you're back at Jenkins, click on Manage Jenkins, okay? Then click on the credentials under security. So we want to put the token that we just got from SonarQube. That's what we're trying to do. So I'm going to use secret text. Just paste the token that you copied from SonarQube. And just name this Sonar. All right. I'm going to name it Sonar-Jenkins. I'm just going to use the same thing for the description. Okay, so click on create. So we've done that, come back here, click on done, then click on configuration, click on webhooks. Then we want to create a webhook. I'm just going to name this Jenkins integration. And then the URL I'm going to put is the URL for Jenkins. I'm just going to come back here, copy from here to here, and paste this SonarQube -webhook / okay, let's see, IP address port 8080 for Jenkins, SonarQube -webhook. Great. So just create this, I'm going to dismiss this down here. So once we're done with that, let's come back to the terminal. We are going to install trivy.sh. So before I do that, I'm going to create a file using the Vim editor. Okay. And for the content of that, you can also get it in GitHub. I'm going to put the link to the GitHub page in the comment section. So just paste. When you're done, Control I, WQ. Okay, so if you go back here, you see it's done. Exit with the column WQ exclamation mark out. All right, so now that we've done that, we want to give executable permission to trivy.sh. So I'm going to do sudo chmod 123 777 trivy.sh. Okay, so let's run it. Trivy.sh. So while that is doing, let's just come back here and see. So this just basically tells us about, our system, about the SonarQube, in case you haven't used it before. If you click on quality profiles, you see information about the collection of the rules to apply during analysis. And then you can see like other things about quality gates here. Okay, so let us go back to Jenkins. We are at a point where we want to install the required plugins. Okay, so available plugins. So I'm going to install this. So I'm installing this because I need it for Java, okay, and I need the adoption.net, and this is what enables me to be able to install from this particular location. So I'll select that. I also want SonarQube scanner. Okay. After that, I want Docker. Just put that. Okay, what else do I want? I'm just gonna install GitHub in case it was not done before. Git. Okay, I think I have everything I need for Git already. All right. Scroll down and install. Okay, so basically these are all the plugins that I've installed. The ones that I'm installing now are in the pending state. So let me show you something. Let's quickly go to Manage Jenkins and Tools. If I click on Add JDK and I click on Install Automatically, as you can see, I want to be able to install from adoption.net, but because the plugin is not done downloading, it hasn't come up here yet. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you. So let's just go back and let's wait for the plugins to be done. I want to be able to come here and find Eclipse. So it hasn't come up to available, so that means it's still installing. Well, let's just check if it's on now. All right, so now you can see the install from adoption.net now comes up, and I'm going to select this one and I'm going to give it a name, my Java. Okay, so go to Gradle because we're going to be using Gradle for our build. I'll just call it my Gradle, and I'll leave the version as it is. So it's going to install from gradle.org. Okay, so scroll down and let's do SonarQube scanner installation. I'm just gonna call this. Okay. I'm gonna leave this version as it is. All right. So if we're going to use the dependency check, we would add the dependency check. But for this one, we aren't using it. But if you were going to use it, you would just put, the name, select where you want to install it from, which is mostly from GitHub. It gives you the version that should be installed, and then you can continue. I'm just going to leave it as it is right now. Okay, click on save. All right, so now let's configure the SonarQube tool. So we go to Manage Jenkins and then go to System and Tools. So let's do this. Not here. System. Okay. Scroll down. Yep. So here, click on Add SonarQube. So you want to put the SonarQube IP address and port number. So copy this and paste. I'll just call this SonarQube. Okay. So once you've done that, click apply and save. All right. So the next thing we want to do now is to add the credentials for Docker, because remember I said that we are going to be, pushing to Docker Hub. All right. So let's do that. Let's add the credentials for Docker. So username with password. So my username for my Docker Hub is what I'm putting here. You can put the username for your own Docker Hub. And then I'm putting my password. Okay. And I'm just going to call this Docker. And create. Okay, so next I go back to Manage Jenkins and I'm going to add the Docker tool. So here, click on Docker. I'm going to give it a name and install automatically. Download from Docker. The latest version is fine by me. And then save. So now we're done with the whole setup and configuration process. We're done with installing, all the required dependencies, installing the required plugins. So let's get right to the core. Let's do something fun. So right now I'm gonna create a pipeline, and I'm gonna call it my web form. I'm gonna make it a pipeline. Okay. So I'm just gonna scroll down here. So let's open this new tab, the pipeline syntax. So the pipeline syntax is going to help us to generate some commands. Okay. So before now, what I have already done is I have written my Jenkins file. Okay. So here's my Jenkins file, and I'm just going to walk you through it. So these are the various stages that are going to occur. Okay. There's the clean WS stage. There's the checkout from SCM. So basically, this one here is basically going to use the code from this particular repository to run, because this is where I have my web application configured and sitting on. And then we have the Gradle compile command. This is basically building our code for us and running it for us. Then we have the SonarQube analysis. A way to actually generate this code because initially I opened the pipeline syntax, is through here actually. So let me just show you why I opened the pipeline syntax and how this can be helpful for people who are not conversant with writing, scripts and all that. So just click on with SonarQube environment, and then you click on the SonarQube Jenkins, okay? Click on generate pipeline script. So it's going to give you this here. You can just copy it, and take it to like your code editor. As you can see, that's what it gave me. And then that part where it says block of code and stuff, that's where I put like some block of code, all right? And then building of the Gradle. Then here for Docker, something else I want to show you is, let's go back to this part. So for my Docker, remember I used username and password, okay, and I use them separately. So now if I want to get a, if I want to write a shell script, how can I write it? This can help me to write it, okay? So just look for the one that says with credentials, and it says bind credentials to variables. Why am I doing this? I'm doing it because I don't want to expose my, my credentials on my, Jenkins file. So what I'm going to do is I'll select username and password separated. Okay. So what do you want to call it? So it's just like doing an environment variable. Okay. So I'll say docker underscore name, docker underscore password. All right. And then generate pipeline script. So this is what it gives you. It gives you how yours, how you can, the shell script that you can run that binds your credentials to variables. And that's what I've done here, basically. This is what I've done here. I basically just copy that command and put here. So here is now like the commands to actually build, log into my Docker Hub, and then push. So I've given, because like my Docker Hub, remember, my username is Kachi0. So that's why this is here. And then I'm just kind of like saying, build an image with this name, then log into my Docker Hub using my username and my password, and then push the image I've built to Docker Hub. Okay. So let's scroll down. So this one deploys the container and runs it for you. So remember I told you that I opened port 8082 because that's where I want to expose my web application to. Okay. So now that you get all this, I'm just going to copy this, Control A, Control C, go back to my pipeline. So there are two ways to do this. It's either you say pipeline script from SCM, and then you select Git, and then you're not going to point, the Git repository that you want it to use, okay? But right now, that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to use the pipeline script from here. So I'm going to paste. Okay. So normally, like if you click apply and scroll up, if you have any error in your code, it's going to do like a red mark here. But as you can see, there's no error here. So I'm going to click on save. Okay. So now this is the time for the moment of truth. So we want to build this pipeline job. So click on build. I've created a video or a tutorial where I showed how you can automatically push your build with GitHub. So for that one, you have to create a webhook on your GitHub profile, and then integrate it with Jenkins so that when you do a commit on your GitHub profile, it's gonna automatically build here. Okay. So this is going to take some time. So I'm going to pause this video and come back when the build is done. Hello viewers, my name is Kachi. This is a short break just to urge and ask you to like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. This channel is used to bring educative videos that are relevant in the information technology world. We bring videos on web development, cloud computing, DevOps, and even artificial intelligence, AI. But the videos are not just limited to that. We also provide videos as they are relevant to the community. We ask that you support us through your likes, and subscription. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you as part of our subscribers. Now, let's get back to business. So now we can see that our pipeline is done building. These are all the stages that it went through, and then it deployed to the Docker container. All right. So if you remember, we said it should deploy to 8082. So let's do something. Let's go to EC2 instance, take the public IP, open another tab, 8082. All right. So now this is our application running on 8082, just as we requested. So let's go to SonarQube and click on project. You can see that it was able to pass the website that was just created. All right. So let's go back here. So this is basically how to use the DevOps approach in deploying your application, or whether it's a website, whether it's a web form like mine, whatever type of application you want to deploy, you can use it. You can do that using the DevOps approach. So I hope you were able to learn a thing or two from this, and you were able to follow through. If you have any issues along the line, leave a comment in the comment section, and I will reply you as soon as possible. Also, if you need training on DevOps, you can always reach out to Happy Cloud Solutions, and we're more than ready to, take you through a training. All right.